realized as well, and I was discussing this, like, because sometimes things just pop up in my head, and I was just like, you know, when I was listening to the podcast with All About the Truth, they were saying like, oh, we don't like how Melissa, like one of the girls, she was saying, I don't like Melissa because Melissa, I don't like the way she treats her family. That's what she said. So then it's like, oh, okay. And at some point in time, she admits that she tried to kind of like get to know Melissa. And she only did that because Melissa and Teresa were good. Like that must have been around after season 6, right? So she said that her and Teresa, Melissa and Teresa got closer. So therefore, one of the hosts of that podcast decided that she would give Melissa a chance, which I find weak, by the way, because it's like, don't you have your own mind? Do you need like Teresa's approval for everything? And it's like, why are you so inserted in the drama? Like I said, guys, I think that that's very stupid. I have to use that word. It, like, to me, I didn't know that girl was part of the show. Like the whole, I understand having like your favorite characters on the show and people that you're writing for like more than others, but it seems very personal. Like, and to me, it's like, if you don't know Melissa like that, like if you don't really have a personal relationship with her, you never been to school with her, like, you know, you didn't share the same boyfriend, or you don't have like a friend that she did something to, like, to me, it feels so personal to have so much animosity against Melissa. It's like, to be honest with you guys, if I were to see Teresa in the streets, right, I would be excited to see her. You understand? Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not talking to Teresa because, you know, of every, like, listen, like, am I involved? I'm not involved. Like, maybe Teresa wouldn't be as excited to see me because of what I'm saying about her. But on my part, I have absolutely no animosity towards the girl. I think she's fantastic for the show. I love her on the show. I don't want her to lose her job. And her problems with Melissa are just that, her problems with Melissa. They're not mine. Okay. I'm not taking Teresa's laundry or Melissa's laundry. I'm just saying that. So anyways, a long sidebar just to say this. So basically, the host said that she does not like the way that Melissa treats family. But then I was like thinking, and I was just like, Melissa, we have seen Melissa on the show take the Judice's girls and go to Sweet and Sassy or go to a spa or have their nails done. We've seen Melissa take the girls and babysit them. Like, if you guys remember when Teresa was doing her, I think it was her Fabellini party. She said on the show she didn't have a babysitter. So because she didn't have a babysitter, she called Melissa, and she called Melissa, and Melissa offered to, actually, I don't know if she called Melissa. Melissa offered to babysit for her, right? So then Melissa took the girls and they went, I think they went to Sweet and Sassy at the time, and they got matching bracelets for the girls and for Teresa and for Melissa. So we have seen Melissa, you know, take her auntie role very seriously when it comes to the girls, to the Judice girls. Maybe not as much as Teresa would have liked, but I'm saying like there is some footage that exists of Melissa doing just that. And even like at Kathy and Richie, when they had the pool party, you see Melissa take the girls. Like, she takes Adriana in her arms. Like, she seems very sweet to babies and little children. You know, she's not just about her kids. She's also about Teresa's kids. Like, she wants to hug them and love them and do all of that. So I'm not sure what the host is saying when she says she doesn't like the way Melissa treats family. But this is what I'm going to say. I was trying to think of a time where I saw Teresa either babysit Melissa's children. That has never happened on the show. I'm not saying that it has never happened at all throughout the history of their relationship. But what I can honestly say is that in 10 seasons of Melissa and Teresa together on the same show, we have never seen Teresa call Melissa and Joe and say, I want to watch your kids, or I want your kids to come to the house and play with my girls. Like, you know, just on her own. Like, she has never done that, right? She has never taken Antonia. And Melissa only has one daughter, and that daughter has brothers, right? So of course she would be happy to spend some time at Teresa's house with the girls. Like Teresa has 4 girls and Melania's a girl. Like it's her cousin, but it's like, you know, they're very, very close. Like they have a great relationship. So I'm sure Antonio would have liked that. But, you know, you have to be able to read between the lines, because I think it is easy to just say that Melissa, oh, she's fake, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. But there is existing footage of her trying to have a relationship with the girls. Another thing was, I was rewatching Teresa Checks In. And, you know, there's an episode where Joe Giudice goes to the Catskills. You know, his dad had a cottage there in upstate New York. And then basically he goes to the Catskills on his own, and then Joe and Melissa and the kids join him later on. So that's the episode where Joe Gorga says to Melania, bring me the chainsaw. And then Melania tries to bring the chainsaw. And Melissa's like, are you nuts? Like a chainsaw? You want a chainsaw? Come and get it yourself. Don't ask a kid to do that, right? So she's very protective of the children, and she is being responsible because, you know, God forbid something was to happen to Melania with the chainsaw while Melissa was there. Like she would never hear the end of it from Teresa. Like, let's be honest, right? So one thing that happens during that episode, Teresa calls from prison, and then she's speaking to Joe and then her husband. And then Joe says to Teresa, oh, your brother is here. He's with me in upstate New York. And then Teresa's like, oh, hi, honey. How are you? Like talking to her brother, right, on speakerphone. And then Melissa was there too. And Melissa was like cutting up some onions, like in the kitchen, like trying to prepare supper, like to help Joe Giudice prepare supper. And then Melissa says, hi, Tree, you know, and then silence. Like it was really like, I didn't really catch that the first time, or maybe I did, but it was a long time ago. But now that I'm rewatching the episode, I'm telling you guys, you need to try to find that episode, because she says, hi, Tree. Tree does not respond. And she doesn't say, hi, Melissa, hi, honey, hi, anything. It's like nothing on the phone. And then she says, what? Like what? Melissa's there too? That's what she says to Joe. And it's like, what do you think? Like, she's going to come with her husband. Like, her husband's not just going to be coming alone, like upstate New York. And then she's like, are the kids there too? Like, are they all there? And then just like, yeah, everyone's there. Like the family, the entire family, the cousins are playing together outside, right? But she never acknowledges Melissa really on that phone call. Like she doesn't say, how are you? Anything. And we see that it's only 3 episodes, right? That Teresa Checks In series. And even I think Melissa said she hadn't speak to Teresa in like 6 months, right? Because you guys have to remember, when Teresa went to prison, she was not on good terms with Melissa and Joe, which is kind of weird because they wrapped up season 6 and they seem to be all good, right? Teresa and Melissa were holding hands on the couch. Melissa was wearing white, the season with the twins, right? So to me, it seems like they were fine, but apparently something happened. And then even Joe says, Teresa went away and she called him and she basically cussed him out. And then he hadn't spoken to her in like 6 months. So when she calls the house, Melissa and Joe are there with the parents. And Melissa starts kind of like crying because she says, oh my gosh, I haven't heard her voice in 6 months. It's it's a little emotional, right? And some people might say, oh, well, look at her, she's faking it. And you don't know what it's like to have a person that is away. And it's like, no matter how you feel about that person, it might trigger some sort of emotions, right? Even if you don't have the best of relationship. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that Melissa didn't want Teresa to go to jail, because it's still a mother with 4 kids at home. And, you can't help but to feel sad to know that she is there, right? So Melissa was crying and she said, hi, Teresa. And it took forever for Teresa to even say, hi, Melissa, how are you? Like you could feel like the bitterness and coldness in Teresa's voice. The way she talked to her brother on that phone call and to her kids and Joe and her parents, it was completely different than the way she talked to Melissa. So anyways, I'm not sure what people are trying to say when they say that Melissa has never tried. I'm sure she has tried, and we have footage of her trying on camera. And people also like to say that, oh, the producers like to give Melissa and Joe a good edit. It's like, you can get a good edits like here and there, but 10 seasons of you just getting good edits all the time, it's like, come on guys, like maybe there's really nothing, maybe there's nothing negative to say about how they treat Teresa, behind closed doors. And you can even see, like, there's a footage like where little Antonia goes to when was that? I think that was at the end of, was it season 3 or season 4? Anyway, she goes to Teresa with Melissa for a play date, and she says, I never went to Zia Teresa for a play date. She says that to Melissa as she is getting out of the car. She says to her mom, why are we here? Like, oh, I'm excited. Like, we're going to Zia Teresa. I've never been to her house for a play date. I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty telling. If your kids are saying, I've never been to my blood aunt's house for a play date, that should tell you everything that you need to know. But that will never be brought up by the other side.